Always been a freaky jet, trying to fuck my cousin out of the cover. Sliding in the Mustang.
Did he just co-sign that bullshit with the nod?
When I put some lyrics on the beat, I kinda feel myself today. A mirror is on my feet.
He's already pissing me off.
Cause my eyes twitching, that mean there's somebody talking.
And you making it worse!
Back like groceries, really jam shit. Like Kool-Aid, you so sweet, ain't no peace, man.
Bro, get the fuck off the beat, bro. Bro, who the fuck picked this nigga for XXL, bro? Nobody wants to see this nigga hip dancing this shit on XXL, bro. We came to hear some fire-ass freestyles and ciphers.
Every year, XXL creates a new lineup of up-and-coming rappers that they feel took the game by storm over the past year. Historically, being selected was an important honor because it immediately introduced the selected artist to a national audience. The selection comes with a magazine cover appearance as well as multiple opportunities to show off your personality, talent, and skill set. Freestyle videos, and more specifically ciphers, are the most anticipated by the public and bring in the most draw. A massive amount of hip-hop fans looked forward to hearing these ciphers every year, but as time went on, less and less people seemed to care. You can clearly see this when looking at the Google Trends chart for XXL Freshman. The term started gaining traction in 2010 and gradually grew in popularity until its peak in 2017. There was a slight decline the following year in 2018, but it was after this where the real fall off began. It's gotten so bad to the point where after this year's 2023 Cypher, the term XXL Freshman has less traction now than it did in 2010. But why is this? Well, let's start by taking a look at XXL at its best in 2016. The 2016 XXL Freshman Cypher is what basically everyone considers to be the best in the series. The Cypher's view count would back this up, having quadrupled the amount of views of the next most viewed Cypher. This year's freshman list consisted of 21 Savage, Lil Uzi Vert, Lil Yachty, Kodak Black, Anderson .Paak, Lil Dicky, Dave East, Designer, Denzel Curry, and G Herbo. The artists featured in the most popular of the Cyphers are Kodak, 21, Uzi, Yachty, and Denzel Curry. When watching their Cypher, you can clearly tell how much fun they're having with it. They're all constantly laughing, smiling, looking at each other, and even doing ad-libs for one another.
I push your shit all back. Told that bitch I got money, ayy, nothing, ayy. Hit that bitch right from the back, she got turkey. I knock out that bitch like it's stuffing. Yeah.
Put up on your bitch, she sucked my dick and then you kissed her. 30 on my waist.
What? There's also iconic bars that many like myself even think back on every now and then.
All these niggas stealing my style, can I get my flow back?
Who the fuck picked this little sorry ass beat?
Every artist featured in this cypher had completely different styles of rap, which were completely unique at the time in 2016. They also all went on to have amazing, lengthy careers as well, which is something that cannot be said about many other cyphers. The 2017 Cypher is XXL's second most popular one, and it features the artists XXXTentacion, Playboi Carti, Kamaya, A Boogie with the Hoodie, P&B Rock, Made in Tokyo, Amine, Cap G, Kyle, and Ugly God. As you can see, there's some clear names that lasted like X, Carti, and A Boogie, but not nearly as many of them had as long and successful of careers as the year prior. The more popular of this year's ciphers included Playboi Carti, XXXTentacion, Ugly God, and Made in Tokyo. When first tuning in, there are some clear differences from the 2016 cypher. The artists aren't all standing next to each other like before, the lighting is super dark and you can barely see anyone, and there's overall less interaction between the artists. For example, X was literally just standing around in the back until his verse came up.
My nigga X in the back like I'm about to stab a nigga. He like I'm about to go cut a nigga.
There were still points where they can be seen laughing and dancing, however, just not as much as 2016. When listening to the cypher, it was pretty clear that regardless of their musical abilities, none of the artists were freestyle artists.
Yeah, diamonds when I walk, diamonds when I walk.
This guy weak as heck, bro. This guy is so weak. Oh my gosh, man.
The most memorable part from this cypher was the end when X cut the beat and spit a very dark freestyle.
I am a murderer. I am a demon, the son of a sucker. What is your faith? What is your worth? Have you felt acknowledged it? If I kill you now, will you go to heaven or hell you believe it?
Bro, this nigga just sold his soul literally on his freestyle.
This cypher was still a big success, but showed clear regression from the year prior, with less joy, energy, effort, and camaraderie. The 2018 XXL list consisted of Ski Mask the Slump God, Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, Jid, Stefflon Don, Blockboy JB, YBN Namir, Wi-Fi's Funeral, and Trippie Redd. 2018 was the first year where some real controversy began to brew with the XXL Freshman. To start, rapper Lil Skies turned down being a freshman because of an alleged rigging. He claimed that before the fan vote segment even began, XXL told him that he would get the last spot and be the winner.
XXL reached out to me months ago, bro, and chose me to be a 2018 XXL freshman. How the fuck do you choose me to be a freshman before the fans even get to vote? That's just not fair, bro. Like,
Rich the Kid ended up going to the XXL freshman shoot and realized he was just Lil Sky's replacement and happily declined to go forward. Trippie Redd, who was on this year's freshman list, declined to Cypher because he didn't want to be on a camera with a bunch of artists who weren't on his level.
Cause I didn't want to get in front of a camera with a bunch of other niggas that I don't feel is like me at all. And rap over a little sorry ass beat.
This was not at all the first time artists have turned down being an XXL freshman, but it did mark a point where it started to become more and more common. Going to the Cyphers now, the 3 that came out this year were all very different. The one with just Jid and Ski Mask the Slump God was one of the best I've heard, and you can tell they took it seriously. The one with Lil Pump, Blockboy JB, and Smoke Perp on the other hand was pretty bad, and they clearly didn't take it seriously, but they did laugh and dance and interact with one another, similar to the 2016 Cypher. The third Cypher with YBN Namir, Stefflon Don, and Wi-Fi's Funeral was pretty good to be honest, but there was really no interaction or camaraderie between the group, as it seemed like they could all care less when someone else was rapping. This was a pretty solid year for XXL overall, but the cracks in their operation were starting to show. The 2019 and 2020 Cyphers didn't have too much drama, so I'll just name some of the notable things that took place. The 2019 freshman consisted of Comethazine, Tierra Whack, DaBaby, Lil Mosey, Roddy Ricch, YBN Corday, YK Osiris, Rico Nasty, Megan Thee Stallion, Blueface, and Gunna. Gunna ended up not participating in the Cypher, however. The most anticipated artist, Juice WRLD, who was one of the best freestylers ever, declined to be on the 2019 list. Lil Mosey spit one of the laziest and worst freestyles ever and tried to copy Kodak's iconic 2016 sorry ass beat lyric.
This a lame ass beat. Walk up on your bitch, my dick, A-F-D.
Blueface dropped an iconic bar in his Cypher.
XXL just went stupid. If he tripping, then he falling. Stupid.
For 2020, the freshmen were Polo G, Rod Wave, NLE Choppa, Mulatto, Lil TJ, Jack Harlow, Chica, Cowboy, Lil Keed, Fabio Foreign, 24K Golden, and Baby Keem. Baby Keem turned down the Cypher, however. Pop Smoke was also set to be an XXL freshman, but unfortunately passed away before he had the chance. Don Toliver declined being on the list as he only wanted to be on the XXL cover. Lil Tecca also declined being on the list. Oh, and that Chica person freestyled with a dog for some reason. The 2021 freshman list is the first to show a clear drop-off in the popularity of the artists involved. The 2021 list consisted of 42 Doug, Flo Milli, Murray, Pooh Shiesty, Lakia, Coi Leray, Tusi, Blast, Ruby Rose, DDG, and Ian Dior. Ian Dior didn't participate in the Cypher though. None of these artists came close popularity-wise to a single artist in the 2016 Cypher, for example. This was the first year where it seemed like the artists that were already decently popular had no interest in being an XXL freshman because there was nothing for them to gain. The Cyphers themselves were uneventful as well, with the only memorable thing happening being Coi Leray's garbage freestyle that trended on TikTok.
Bitch, I love my butter to me, ayy, my wrist, ayy, gotta see, yeah.
The 2022 freshman list continues the downward popularity trend. There are a few decently known artists like SoFago, Babytron, Cochise, and Nardo Wick, but then there's a massive drop off to the other artists, Doechii, Babyface Ray, Cali, KC, Big 30, Ken the Man, Big Scar, and Saucy Santana. This is the first list where I can say that I've never even heard of over half the artists. Ken Carson and Yeet are two bigger artists who turned down being on this year's Cypher, Ken's rejection being because Destroyed Lonely didn't make the freshman list. As artists seem to care less and less about XXL, so did fans. This Cypher's viewership took a massive hit this year, with the most viewed one only receiving 3 million views. This is also the first Cypher that I didn't even know came out when it did. There was no viral moment at all, positive or negative. At least the last year's had the Koiverse meme getting it views, this year's had nothing. Now to the most recent XXL freshman list. The 2023 list consists of Glorilla, Finesse 2 Times, Lola Brooke, Rob 49, Friday, Too Rare, Sleazy World Go, Central C, Real Boston Richie, La Tyler, Tia Corinne, and DC the Don. The two most popular people on the list, Glorilla and Central C, didn't even do a cypher. Every single person this year who was actually in a cypher, I've never heard of. The biggest artist to make an appearance is literally the producer, Pierre Bourne. Ice Spice, who would have easily been the biggest draw on the list, declined the invite. Rappers now see the XXL Freshman Cyphers as more of a gimmick than a serious career opportunity. Being an XXL freshman seems to have lost its sense of purpose and core value over the past few years as they failed to evolve with the times. It's not even necessarily that the freestyles themselves are getting worse, it's just the lack of improvement on XXL's part. They're still using the exact same formula they've been using since 2011, just with different faces. As time went on, the format got stale and played out, which caused the potential artists as well as the fans to get turned off. The artists' lack of interest is the most important because they're the ones bringing in the real views, not XXL. The freshman list went from people I listen to people I know about, to people I've heard of, to people I've never even heard of. This caused me and many others to stop caring about the lists altogether. Bigger artists have nothing to gain from it, the viewers have nothing to gain from it, and XXL I'd assume has nothing to gain from it currently, as they're likely losing money paying and promoting all these artists just to get a fraction of the views that they used to receive. The only solution I can give to XXL is a simple one: switch it up before it's too late.